So many INFJs go through life questioning if they have a higher purpose. So a purpose beyond the mundane life, the everyday life that everybody has the right to live, right? There's always this question of, am I meant for something more? Am I meant to change people's lives? Am I meant to have an impact? And it's this question that keeps so many of us stuck. Because if we actually go for our purpose, if we tap into it, if we dare to go there, there's no guarantee. There's always this question of, what if I'm not enough? What if I go for it and the world shows me that I was just delusional, that I don't really have what it takes? But I'm here to tell you, if you're an INFJ, you by definition have a higher purpose. That's how we're designed. And you can not only take my word from it, you can look into Youngin's work, you can look into other channels, like look into Personality Hackers, CJ Joseph. Like, as INFJs, this is what we're good at. We are here to create a connection to the unconscious. We're here to move things forward. We're here to set new standards and to set a blueprint. And it's on us to actually bet on us. So today we're going to talk about 5 signs that you're an INFJ with a purpose, but still playing it small. Before we get started, I want to remind you this Saturday is our next bootcamp call. We have a call once a month, and this month we're focusing on INFJ purpose. So if you want to join our amazing community of INFJs, we're hundreds of INFJs in bootcamp. Every single time we come together, there's a Facebook community, you have a lot of learning material, and once a month we have a call focusing on one particular topic. So this month it's all about purpose. So if you want to join us in creating an INFJ epic life on your terms and have the support of hundreds of INFJs who are doing it with you, then come on over and join us before the Saturday so you can be part of this month's live call. Everything you need to know in order to join, you can find through the links in the description. I see you there. Sign number 1, you're constantly waiting for some external sign of permission, that somebody comes up to you and says, you're worthy, you got it, you're allowed to be bigger than life in so many ways. But what we have to understand is that we as INFJs, by definition, by design, are the type that cannot wait for permission. We're the type that cannot wait for somebody to choose us. We have to choose ourselves because we have one advantage over all the other types. And yes, of course, every single type that is an intuitive type first has that to some extent. But if you really look at it from a perspective of humanity, if you really look at it from a perspective of where are we moving forward as a society, we're the ones who cannot wait. Because we have one advantage, and that is that we're connected to our higher consciousness. We're connected to a bigger purpose. We know in so many ways what truth is, like real, universal, unfiltered truth. We don't always have access to it. I'm not saying we're all perfect in it, but it is our first function. It's the thing that cannot be taken away from us. So I can tell you from somebody who's been at the lowest lows, I've been to hell and back. I can tell you, when you're there, when you've lost all hope of anything else, this is the thing that's going to save you, because this doesn't go away. At the end of the day, you know what it means to be peaceful inside. You know what it is to be in alignment with who you're meant to be. And this is a luxury most people don't have. And so we're the ones who cannot wait for somebody to choose us. We cannot wait for somebody to tell us you're worth it. We have to choose ourselves, and we have to say, I'm going to bet on myself. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in the other points. But what is important here, you don't have to think of yourself as a guru. You don't have to be perfect. We're all contributors. And so the question is, how can I contribute? And when you really look at it from that perspective, you don't have anything to lose, really, because you're not really doing something in order to prove your worth. You already know that you're worthy. All you're doing is saying, now, how can I help others feel worthy as well? Sign number 2, you dim your light so others feel comfortable. So many INFJs go into rooms and directly scan who is ready for me to show up authentically. That's why every INFJ has a story in the back of their mind when they have met somebody who felt like that's a person I can open up to. That's a person I can be authentically me with, right? And then there's always some kind of problem because you open up to that person, then it was too much for that person. And it was like this whole thing. But the reason why this has happened, and this has happened to me numerous times, and you know like how many INFJs I've talked to over the years, this is a common theme. But the problem is that we are holding ourselves back all the time. And then when we see one person and we think that person, they might accept me the way I am, that's when we feel we can open up. But it doesn't work this way. It's actually the other way around. It's us who has to say, this is all of me. I don't have to prove myself to everybody. I don't have to tell everybody my truth, but I'm not dimming my light. I'm not making myself more palatable. I'm not making myself more comfortable to digest. Because when you do this, and this is a leaning into process, you don't have to do it all at once. But when you start doing this, when you start living like this, you're not going to feel, oh, there's a person I can finally open up to, because your entire life, you're just choosing authenticity. And that in itself will lead you towards a path where a lot of people can't see you or can't reach you, but you just won't care because the right people will see you, will sense you, and will come your way. Because, as I said, if you do this, if you really align yourself with purpose, we're becoming the blueprint of what it means to choose yourself, to be in alignment with your own truth, to be in alignment with inner peace and integrity. And once you've gotten to that place, you're untouchable. Like nobody can say anything that really gets to your core because you know that you're showing up as authentically as you can, that you're adding value the best way you can, and you're proud of the person you're becoming. Sign number 3, you're exhausted by all the soul work, but you don't have any results. So many INFJs that I've talked to say, I meditate, I work on myself, I journal, like I do all of these internal exercises, but nothing really changes. Well, it doesn't, because for us as INFJs, the truth is we have to anchor it into reality. We have to take action. We have to make it tangible one way or another. It's not about are people going to get it? It's all about, am I bringing something that could theoretically be seen? As long as all your work stays in your head, you're not anchoring anything into reality. We are, after all, no matter how cerebral we are, no matter how intuitive we are, we also have extroverted sensing in our field. We're also on earth to be a human being, not only this cerebral being who's always in their head and dreaming. Like there's so much in this, and come on, this is my life. Like I love this. Like I have dedicated my life to daydreaming and visioning and doing all that, but it doesn't really any kind of fulfillment. You're not going to feel you're tapping into your purpose if you're not anchoring it into reality. And that means you have to start taking action. There has to be something that is a representation of your essence. So for me, that meant starting this channel. For me, that meant showing up in my closest relationships more authentically with this sovereignty of this is who I am and I'm not budging for anybody. I know that this might look weird from the outside, but I know what I'm doing. I know that I'm adding value because I know that I'm bringing truth and I'm bringing peace. And me just being a representation of what it means to choose your truth is already an added value to society. And that's how we have to look at it. You're never going to feel like you're living your purpose as long as it stays in your mind. And that's what we do in bootcamp as well. So this isn't about theory. This is about the real thing. This is about tapping into it. This is about anchoring it in. Because once you have that momentum going, once it's not just this idea of, oh, I want to write that book, but it's actually tangible result that you really start sharing with people. And there's an opportunity that this brings value to somebody else because it comes from your mind, from your experience, from your essence. That's when you feel like you're living in purpose. That's when you get to a place where you say, life is not happening outside of me, life is happening through me. And that's what we want, and that's what we practice, and that's what we learn. And thankfully, there's this community of INFJs now that helps you to remember that this is how we show up. That's why I created Bootcamp, because I know how hard it is to make that step by yourself, because I had to. But now we don't have to anymore. We have each other. We have examples. You see other INFJs continuously doing it and continuously coming back because it's worth it every single time when you start betting on yourself and you really put money down on the table, meaning you are going to create tangible results. There's something that somebody could theoretically see about who you are, and it's not just something that is in your mind and hidden from the outside world. You make it tangible, you make it visible, you make it real. That's when you start living in purpose. Sign number 4, you fear being seen wrong more than being invisible. So I know how hard this is. Like I've been there. Like I have really gone through that when I didn't have any examples of people doing this. So I know how hard it is because the moment when you choose yourself, you're going to not be understood. You're going to be ahead of the curve. People are going to think you're weird. People are going to think you're different. People are not going to understand you. People are going to think you're weak. Like, please, come on. Like, we all know that we're everything but weak, but that's how people are going to interpret us very often. But it's on us to say, I know who I am. I know why I'm doing this. I know what's at the core of this. And this is something that nobody can take away from us. So that's why a lot of the things we practice also when it comes to like purpose, and we do this in boot camp, but all my material is based on that we have to start with, how do I want to be seen? We're not starting with how do I want to serve the world. We're not starting with how do I want to put my stamp on it. We start with this aspect of, what is an aspect of me that is not up for debate? How do I see myself? That is the thing we're going to hold on to. Because when you have that, people can say whatever they want. People can think of you whatever they want, and they will. They might think you're a bad guy. They might think that you're stupid. They might think that you're weird, and it will all just be noise. Because when you know that you're something, I don't care what anybody says. I really don't. So if somebody comes up to me and says, you have green hair, I know I don't have green hair. Like, how can I take this seriously? And that's the kind of energy we want to represent. That's how we want to feel internally. And again, thankfully, you don't have to do it by yourself. If you're part of bootcamp or not, like even the entire INFJ YouTube community here at my space is already a place where you're not going to be ridiculed. Your ideas are welcomed. You are supported by you being you. And we're not only encouraging that, we're setting it as a standard. And there's no step too small. There's no place where you're not being accepted for who you are. Every single one of us has a unique voice. Every one of us has something unique to add. And this platform is here to help you remember who you are, and that it's your birthright to live out who you are, because there's nobody's going to give you permission. You are a human like everybody else, and with that, your worldview matters just as much as everybody else's. And it's on you to claim your birthright. It's on you to say, how I see the world is more than enough. And I'm going to make it a point that I hold on to it, that I live it out, that I become an example of what it means to be in integrity, what it means to be in alignment, what it means to live out my truth with kindness, without being a martyr, without playing the victim, without feeling you have to excuse yourself for shining so bright. That's what my community is all about. And if you really want to go all in, then join bootcamp. Like seriously, that's what we do there. And you're always going to have a place where on the one hand, you're at home, but at the other hand, you know that every single step in your progress is cherished, is supported, and is appreciated. Sign number 5 that you're an INFJ with a purpose, but you're playing it small is you actually know what you're meant to do. It just sounds crazy. Let's get back to the basics. Like, come on. If I would have told somebody what I wanted to do with my life, everybody would have said that's crazy, until I actually pull it off. There is nothing crazy about your vision. You wouldn't have that vision if it wasn't possible. And it doesn't matter how small of a step your first step is. Every single step towards the vision of who you want to become is the right step forward. Even if you don't know how it looks like exactly, you know what the next step is. You know what to do. So the next time you tell yourself, yeah, I should be doing this and this, but that's crazy. That's like over the top. Like, who am I to think I can pull this off? Why not? Why not you? Maybe it's exactly you who will pull it off because you're crazy enough to think you can. And guess what? There's nobody stopping you. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that if you stay in your truth, even if nobody believes you, nobody can take it away from you. Like, who says that I cannot hold on to my truth until the end of my life? Nobody. And you will hold on to that truth unless you recognize there's something about it that isn't really my real truth. It can be refined, it can be changed, but the core of you, nobody can take that away from you. That's your birthright. That's who you are. That's how you've been designed. So if you have this idea of this is how my life should look like, this is the kind of impact I should have, it's on you to take it on. There's nobody who's going to give you permission. There's nobody above you who will guide you in a sense of, come on, I've done what you want to do and I'll show you how to do it. Because what you want to do, what your purpose is uniquely yours. None of us, not even me, knows exactly what your purpose is. We might understand it to some extent, but at the end, it's you. You have the blueprint to your life. You are the one who decides to tap into it. And we all know, if you really think about it, this is one of the things that differentiates us from others. That we know that if we needed to, we can hold on to that vision of ourselves, of how we see the world, of what we think we should be doing until the end of our life. And I can only recommend, like, if you haven't watched this, watch the video on INFJs loving themselves or choosing themselves or something like this by personality hackers, because it will confirm you the same thing. It's all about INFJs choosing their inner peace, choosing to be in integrity, and knowing that this is something that I will defend with my life. I will die trying, because at the end of the day, this is nothing somebody can take away from you. The worst case, and even that worst case is like the best case ever, another person is also going to choose themselves. That's the worst case. Nobody can get you off your path. How? How is that supposed to happen? If you know there's a part of me that's not up for debate, and I'm living my life and I'm taking action, and this is super important. If you're not taking action, if you're not anchoring it into reality, you can't be swayed away. You can't feel like you should bend for other people. But when you start anchoring it in, it becomes so solid that you become untouchable. And this is actually the best example we can give to anybody around us. Because isn't that what like a great society is all about? That everybody is in alignment with who they are, is full of integrity, chooses themselves, and knows that they're showing up as the best version of themselves. That's what would be the best for society anyway, so why not be a representation of that? You know you have what it takes. Now it's just the question, how are we going to make it a reality? So if you want support, if you want a community behind you, if you want examples that show you over and over that it's not only possible, it's actually the easiest thing ever once you start going, then join us in bootcamp. So this Saturday is our live call on purpose. I welcome all of you who want to be part of this to join us and creating this amazing movement. So if you're ready to join, you can do this through the link in the description. And I hope I see many new faces this Saturday in our live call. Now, if you want to check out another video that is in alignment with today's topic, then check out the video you see on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.